Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam review class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानो सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam review class. We are discussing from the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are discussing the beautiful section of Uddhava Gita. So far we have discussed few of the questions which Uddhava had asked, and Krishna, he had very wonderfully given the answers to these questions. So the last question which Uddhava asked was, he asked, I desire to know when and in what form you instructed 4 Kumaras headed by Sanaka. And in response to that question, Krishna, he started the description of Hamsavatar. That one day when 4 Kumaras, they went to Brahmaji and they asked a very important question. The mind is attracted to our sense objects, and sense objects, they enter the mind. How to break this relationship? Brahmaji, he could not answer this question, and he started meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore Lord appeared as Hamsavatar and he described in great detail the principle of the relationship between mind and the senses. So that's what we discussed last time. Now in the 14th chapter, Uddhava, he is asking again a question. He says that the sages, they recommend various processes. So the sages, they recommend various processes. Please tell me whether all these are equally important or one is supreme of all of them. Vadanti Krishna Shreyamsi Bahuni Brahmavadinah Tesham Vikalpa Pradhanyam Utaho Ekamukhyata. So please tell me that all these processes which are given by various sages, are they one, or they are, or there is some process which is the supreme. So in order to clearly establish the supreme position of Bhakti Yoga, Uddhava is asking this question. And therefore Uddhava, he represents Lord Krishna to identify the supreme process among all the various processes of self-realization, which is the supreme. So therefore Uddhava is asking Krishna that according to you, in the second verse he says that according to you, you have explained that unalloyed devotional service is the process by which one can remove the material contamination and one can fix the mind on yourself. So therefore Uddhava is asking that actually according to you, bhakti is the best. You have already told it. So now Uddhava, he asks a question that by this bhakti you are telling that mind should be absorbed in you. So he's asking, is bhakti the best among all the processes? Because you have told that you should do bhakti and absorb the mind on me. So is bhakti the best of all the processes? Please explain this. So this is the question of Uddhava. So now Krishna, in response to this question, he describes in detail how essence of all the processes is devotional service. He says in the third verse that Vedic knowledge was lost at the time of annihilation, and then again I spoke this knowledge to Brahma because I myself is the religious principle. I am the religious principles, and I spoke this knowledge to Brahma. The word used is Mad Atmakaha. Mad Atmakaha means the process by which one concentrates on me. And this refers to Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna is saying, I instructed Brahma about the process of Bhakti Yoga. Because only by devotional service one can know him. Bhaktyayam ekaya grahyaha. Only by the process of devotional service one can know Krishna to be the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, nobody can understand Krishna. So therefore, Krishna says, I spoke this knowledge to Brahma, Brahma spoke to Manu, and Manu spoke to the seven great sages headed by Bhrigu. Bhrigu and other sages, their sons, they appeared in various forms of descendants. Various species, various types of living entities were created by the sons of these seven sages. So therefore, according to the desires, according to the modes of all these species, different processes were given. So there are various species of life, you know. So we are on 14th chapter, 4th verse. So he says now 5th to 7th verse, Krishna is describing that from the Devatas, from the sages headed by Bhrigu Muni, various species of life were created. Demigods, human beings, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Guhyakas, Charanas, Vidyadharas, Kimdevas. All the various species of life were produced. And all these species, they have different nature and they have different desires. According to the modes a person is in, he develops a different type of desire. So therefore, yesterday also we discussed the importance of cultivating sattva guna. Sattva gun is very, very important to practice spiritual realization, to practice spiritual life. So therefore, all these species of life, they are in different modes. So there are different Vedic rituals, there are different mantras, and there are different rewards which are given to different types of worshippers. And then Krishna says, thus there are different types of philosophies. So that's why the Vedic scriptures, they do not leave anybody. Nobody can say, oh, I do not fit anywhere in the Vedic purview. That is the supreme merciful nature of the Lord. Anybody can gradually advance. As Chaitanya Charmur says, what is Varnashram? Varnashram means where we are, at whatever speed we can run, we have to run towards Krishna. At your pace, from your place, run towards Krishna. That is Varnashram system. That is the wonderful arrangement of Krishna. He wants everybody to come to himself, and therefore he has given so various types of processes. But then he says, there are some people who have atheistic views. And Chakravarti Thakur gives an example. Just like on the bank of Ganga, Ganga water is pure, sweet. But on the bank of Ganga, there may be a poisonous tree. And poisonous tree may be also getting water from the Ganga and growing. There are some species, there are some atheistic or demoniac people. They take shelter of scriptures, they read scriptures, and they produce the poisonous fruits of atheism. It is like the poisonous tree which is growing on the bank of Ganga. The intelligence of these people, they are bewildered by my illusory potency, Krishna says there. And that's why they create so many different types of activities. They perform so many different types of uh, actions which are not mentioned in the Vedas. And therefore, people, they work in innumerable ways according to their desire. And then Krishna says that, there are many other types of paths which are mentioned in scriptures, but these paths do not take one directly to the supreme truth. Some people say that, we can become happy by practicing religious principles. Dharmam eke yashaschanye kamam satyam damashamam अन्ये वदन्ति स्वार्थां वा ऐश्वर्यं त्याग भोजनम केचिद यज्ञम तपोदानम व्रतानि नियमान्यमान. These are the 14 types of whimsical paths. Chakravarti Thakur says these are the 14 whimsical paths. So some people say, oh, by practicing of religious principles one can be happy. Some people say if somebody is famous, if you become famous, then you will become happy. Some people say no, 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 by enjoying sense gratification, which are mentioned in the Kama Sutras and all the scriptures. They are all the Vedic scriptures. By enjoying life, enjoying sex life, one can become happy. By some people say by practicing truth. Some say by practicing sense control. By practicing equanimity. So all these various types of thoughts are told by people, practicing vows, charity, penance, regulated duties, and all that. And all these fruits, but the problem is, by following all these various types of processes, the results which are obtained, they are temporary. By any of the process, apart from devotional service, one cannot get the ultimate permanent benefit. आद्य अंतवंत एवैषां लोका कर्म विनिर्मिताः दुःखोदर्कास्तमोनिष्ठा शूद्रा मंद शुचार्पिताः. So the happiness which one attains by following all these 14 types of paths, they are having a beginning and they have an end. And they bring future unhappiness. Nobody can be permanently happy by following all these principles. It brings future happiness because these are based on ignorance of our actual identity. What is our actual identity? Jivera Surup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. Because all these various types of paths, they are ultimately aimed for sense gratification. This cannot make a person happy. So therefore, although they may be enjoying this, even while enjoying, they are filled with lamentation. Because they don't get the happiness which they expected. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. So the present infatuation is the cause of future lamentation. That's what is described in the scriptures. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says. Kutra shisha shruti sukha mrigatrishni rupa kvedam kalevaramashesha rujam viroha. So he says, Kutra Ashisha Shruti Sukha. The only pleasure which is there in this world is Shruti Sukh. If you tell somebody, there is a big feast which is getting prepared, gulab jamun, puri, halwa, and all types of various items are cooked, pulao and all. Just hearing that gives happiness. Prahlad Maharaj says, that is the only happiness which is there in the world. When you actually try to enjoy it, it will not give the same pleasure which you expected. So therefore, Krishna says, only pure devotional service is the perfect process. Only by the practice of devotional service, a devotee can become completely happy. And he says that actually, the devotee shares happiness with the Lord. Maya arpitatmana sabhya nirapekshasya sarvatah mayatmana sukham yattat kutasyad vishayatmanan. He says, those people who fix their consciousness on me, they give up all types of material desires. They are free from all types of material desires. They have fixed their mind on me. Therefore, they share with me a happiness which is not possible by sense gratification. For most of us, this may be very theoretical. The happiness which can substitute the sense pleasures of this world, scriptures are again and again saying the same thing. So what we have to do, we have to keep reading the scriptures, trying to imbibe the knowledge which is there in the scriptures, so that one day, by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of Srimad Bhagavatam, this knowledge will become realization. Otherwise, at present level, we may not be able to understand that how can bhakti give a higher pleasure than sense gratification. For many of us, it may be theoretical knowledge, but it is true. That's what Krishna is himself saying here. And therefore he says, and the purport, very wonderful line is written there. The disciples of Prabhupada, they write, the actual purport of Vedic knowledge is described here. What is the actual purport of Vedic knowledge? To give up the material happiness, material sense gratification, and try to enjoy the happiness of devotional service. That is the ocean, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sandrananda Visheshatma. Unlimited bliss is available if one connects to Krishna. So therefore, it is said that instead of trying to cultivate the peace of mind, try to cultivate sense control, trying to cultivate speculative knowledge, just surrender to Krishna. Because even if you can control your mind, even if you control your senses, but still you will be in the Sattva Guna only. Our purpose is not to be in the Sattva Guna, our purpose is to transcend the Sattva Guna also. That is possible only by devotional service. So therefore, Krishna says, my devotees, they have such wonderful qualities. Akinchanasya dantasya shantasya samachetasah maya santushtamanasa sarva sukhamayadishah. Krishna is saying, Akinchana, my devotees, they do not have possessive mentality. They may be billionaires, but they don't have possessive mentality because they understand that whatever I have, Manas deho geho jo kichu moe arpilo tua pade nanda kishore. Whatever I have, O my Lord, it is for your service. Akinchanasya, dantasya, completely self-controlled. Shantasya, samachetasaha, equipoised in all conditions. Maya santushta manasaha. They are completely satisfied rendering devotional service. Happiness of a devotee is to see the smile on the face of the Lord. Many of the disciples of Prabhupada, they tell so many times that whatever things we are doing, we had only one motive. We wanted to see Prabhupada smiling. If Prabhupada is happy, then all our endeavors are successful. That is the mood of a devotee. He wants to see the Lord happy and smiling. Sarva sukha maya disha. So therefore, for a devotee, all the directions he finds happiness only. Kaivalyam narakayate trijashpur akash pushmayate durdantendriya kala sarva patali protkhat damstrayate Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate means for a devotee, he sees happiness everywhere because he is seeing Krishna everywhere. He sees Krishna in each and every living entity. He is always happy. And therefore, the devotee, his mind, his words, they are completely satisfied just by glorifying the Lord, just by serving the Lord. And Krishna says, because I am the reservoir of unlimited sweetness. Krishna's body is the quintessence of beauty. Tarunyamrit paravar taranga lavanyasar tate se avarta bhavodgam vamshi dhvani chakravat nari ramana trinapat taha dubay na hoy udgam. So the beauty of Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna's body is like a whirlpool, tarunyamrit paravar. It is the ocean of youthfulness. And the beauty of this form is like a wave in this ocean. tate se avarta bhavodgam. And when gopis, they see the beautiful form of Krishna, they go into ecstasy. And then when Krishna plays the flute, it is like a whirlpool which is there in this ocean. And the gopis, they are completely sucked in this whirlpool. That is the condition of a devotee. He is completely satisfied serving Krishna. He says, therefore, Krishna says, my devotee, he does not want anything in this world. So this is the verse which is coming third time in the Bhagavatam. You know, this prayer is by, first we had heard up from Vritrasur, he made this prayer. The Nagpatnis also make this prayer in the 10th canto, and now in the 11th canto, Krishna is himself telling about the devotees. न पारमेष्ठ्यम न महेन्द्रधिष्ण्यम न सार्वभौमम न रसाधिपत्यम न योग सिद्धिर पुनर्भवम वा मयि अर्पितात्मेच्छतिमत विनान्यात्. So Krishna is saying, my devotee, he does not want anything of this world, not even Brahmaloka, not even the position of Indra, not even the position of the controllership of the lower planetary systems. He does not even want all the yoga siddhis. He does not even want liberation. Then what does he want? My devotee is interested only in serving me. He desires only me, nothing else. You know. So therefore, because the devotee likes only me, Krishna says, I am also only hankering to serve my devotee. Devotee is very, very dear to me. How much devotee is dear to you? Krishna says, Na tatha me priyatama atmayoni na shankaraha na cha sankarshano na shrir naivatma cha yatha bhavan. He says, oh dear Uddhava, neither Brahma, nor Shiva, nor Sankarshan, not even goddess of fortune. There is nobody, and not even my own self, which is as dear to me as you. So Krishna is saying, devotees are very, very dear to me. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that actually Brahma and all the others, they are also devotees. You know, Brahmaji is a devotee, and then Lord Shiva is a devotee, Lakshmi ji is a devotee. So then why Krishna is saying devotee is more dear to me than all these personalities? Because actually these personalities, they are identified as son of Lord, Amsha of Lord, wife of Lord, brother of Lord. These identifications are more prominent than a devotee, than being a devotee. So therefore, you know, Krishna is saying devotee is more dear to me. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that according to the rule that things are designated by the prominent qualities. So now, and all these personalities, Brahma, Shiva, Lakshmi, Shankarshan, they have their predominant designations as either son or Amsha or brother or wife. The quality of a devotee is not so prominent. And then Chakravarti Thakur writes that actually Krishna is saying, you know, Brajvasis are most dear to me. Darshayam stadvidam loka atmano mhrityavashyatam vrajasyo vaha vaivarsham bhagavan balacheshtitaihi. So Krishna says, I appeared in this world to show my supreme position of my devotees. Atmano bhrityavasyatam. My devotees are so very wonderful that I come under the control of my devotees. And that's what Damodar Leela also says. Wonderfully it is described that how Krishna comes under the control of his devotees. You know, Nemam virincho na bhavo na shrirapyanga samshrayat prasade le bhire gopi tat prapya vimuktidat. The position which is attained by Yashoda is not attained even by Virincha, means Brahma. Nemam virincho na bhavo, not even by Shiva. Na Shri, not even by Lakshmi. Prasade le bhire gopi, the mercy which Mother Yashoda has received, nobody has received. So therefore, you know, Krishna is saying actually among all the devotees, O Uddhava, among all these personalities, devotees are very, very dear to me. And you are also the very, very dear devotee. But you are not the supremost. Gopis are the best. That's what Krishna wants to tell. And then Krishna says wonderful thing. Actually, he says, I follow the footsteps of my devotees. Narapeksham munim shantam nirvairam samadarshanam anuvrajami ham nityam puyayet angri renubhi. A very wonderful, affection, very heartfelt description Krishna is giving. He says, my devotees, because they are free from personal desires, they are nirapeksha, they are shanta, they are calm, equipoised, nirvaira, without any enmity, have equal vision towards everyone. So therefore, anuvrajami aham nityam. I always follow the footsteps of my devotees. Puya, why do I follow the footsteps of my devotees? Now Krishna says very wonderful. Puyayet. He says, I may be purified. Angri Renubhi, because by the dust of my devotees, I will get purified. And Chakravarti Thakur and Prabhupada also writes the wonderful meaning of this Puyayet. It has two meanings. I may be purified, or Krishna is saying, I will purify the universe which is within me. Because ultimately, this entire universe is the creation of the Lord. So Krishna is saying, actually, my devotees, when they walk, they purify the world. So the purport describes that Krishna, he thought, I have established this strict rule that one can enjoy my transcendental bliss only through the association of my devotees. So therefore, why should I break the rule? I will also enjoy the transcendental bliss the same way by taking the dust of the devotees on my head. That is the wonderful nature of Krishna. Padbhyam bhumer disho drigbhyam dorbhyam cha mangalam divi bahudha utsadyate rajan Krishna bhaktasya nrityatah. Chaitanya Bhagavat describes that when a devotee dances in the kirtan of the Lord, with his feet he purifies the earth, with his vision he purifies the entire sky. Dorbhyam, when he raises his hand, all the directions they are purified. So that is the wonderful position of a devotee, and we have seen many cases, many stories from Bhagavatam how Krishna, he tells himself the supreme position of devotees. He says, when in the four Kumaras pastime, when they ultimately they cursed Jai Vijay, Krishna says, Lord Vishnu says, actually I get all my power because I put the dust of devotees on my head. I am ready to lop off my own arm if it is found hostile against my devotees. So therefore, Krishna, he continues to describe the glories of his devotees. He says, my devotees, they are at the stage of pure love. Nishkinchana may anurakta chetasaha shanta mahanto akila jiva vatsalah kamairanalabda dhiyo jushantite yannairapeksham navidu sukham mama. He says, my devotees, they don't have any desire for personal sense gratification. Nishkinchana, anurakta cheta, they are completely absorbed in me. And therefore, devotees, they are without any material desires. Somebody may say even Gyanis are like that, right? Gyanis also don't have any material desires. Krishna says, no, they are anurakta chetasa. They are attached to me. Gyanis are not attached to me. Devotees are attached to me. Say Shanta. They are peaceful. Mahanta. They are without having any false ego. They are merciful to all the living entities. They are Jiva Vatsalaha. So therefore, their consciousness is never afflicted by sense gratification. They enjoy, happiness in giving me happiness. That is the wonderful nature of the devotees of the Lord. And then Krishna describes the supreme position of pure devotional service. How bhakti is so very powerful, so very potent. It can purify anyone. Very wonderful verses are coming now. बध्यमानोऽपि मद्भक्तो विषयैरजितेन्द्रियः प्रायः प्रागल्भया भक्त्या विषयैर्नाभिभूयते. This is a very hope giving verse for a sadhaka. Very important verse. Because in our process of devotional service, practice of sadhana bhakti, we may get discouraged, we may get frustrated, we may think that, oh, there is no hope for me. Krishna is saying, even a sadhaka is never defeated in this path of devotional service. What to speak of pure devotee? Badhyamano api mad bhakto, even though my devotee is bound because of his conditionings. Vishayaira jitendriyaha, he is not able to control his senses. Ajitendriya, very much our own story. Badhyamana Vishayar ajitendriya, but still prayah pragalbhaya bhaktya vishayairna vibhuyate. Very important line. Prayah pragalbhaya means a person who has great devotion to Lord Krishna and no, he does not commit sinful activities intentionally. We may also do some sinful activities, we may have our own conditionings, but we don't do it intentionally. We don't plan for it. It so happens that some sense object comes in front of our eyes and we get attracted and attached to that. A devotee, a sadhaka, never plans for sense gratification. He falls down accidentally in sense gratification. Pragalbhaya bhaktya vishayer nabhibhuyate indicates that although a devotee has fallen in this material world, but he will not be defeated by Maya. And two examples are given by Chakravarti Thakur, very wonderful examples to describe this verse. He says, a warrior, he may be struck by the enemy's weapons, but because of his courage and because of his strength, he does not fall down. He does not get killed. He does not get defeated because he is so very strong and powerful. Similarly, a devotee may seemingly get defeated by sense gratification, but he does not get defeated in the ultimate sense. Vishayair na vibhuyate. He accepts the blow and continues fighting. He gets up again, he continues fighting. Bhuma uskalit padanam, bhuma veva valambanam, tvai jata paradhanam, tameva sharanam prabho. So a devotee, he understands that I may fall down, but I should again get up. I should not just remain fallen. Just like a small child, when he falls down while walking, again takes shelter of the same ground to get up. We may do some sinful activities because of our conditionings, but a devotee is never defeated by sense gratification. Another example which Chakravarti Thakur gives is, one may counteract a serious disease, but because he takes proper medicine, he is cured. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, apiche suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhur eva samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. क्षिप्रम भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वत शांतिम निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति. Even if my devotee performs most abominable activity, if he is attached to my devotional service, if he thinks that I will never give up Krishna's bhakti, I may have fallen, but still I will continue doing it. This is a very important principle for a sadhaka, because as a sadhaka, we may get frustrated, we may become hopeless, seeing our own anarthas, our own conditionings. I am practicing since so many years, but still the same lust, same anger, same envy, same greed, same pride. What is the hope for me? Vishayair nabhibhuyate. Devotee never becomes hopeless. Devotee is never defeated in the ultimate sense. That is the faith Krishna is giving by this verse. And then Krishna says very beautiful verses. He says actually pure devotional service is so very powerful. It purifies us of all the aprarabdha karma. Yathagnesu samidharchi karotyedhamsi bhasmasat tatha madvishaya bhaktir uddhave nam Shri Krishna. He says, O Uddhava, just like a fire consumes the firewood, turns the firewood into ashes. Similarly, tatha mad vishaya bhakti, devotional service unto me completely burns to ashes whatever sins one may have performed in the past. Very interesting, very wonderful, example. So this bhakti is compared to fire. In other place, bhakti is compared to digestive fire many times in Bhagavatam. Why? Because digestive fire is very specific, does not destroy the nutrients, it just destroys the waste materials. Bhakti selectively destroys the sins, does not destroy the good qualities. Secondly, digestive fire takes some time to digest, right? If we eat something, it takes some time for the stomach to digest the food. Similarly, devotional service gradually, in due course of time, purifies a personality of the sinful reactions. And thirdly, a devotee, a person, after eating food, he does not have to do anything extra to digest. It happens automatically. Similarly, a devotee does not have to do anything extra. No separate atonement, prayashchit, any other thing. There is no requirement. Only thing which is required is to continue rendering devotional service. That completely destroys the aprarabdha karma. And then he says, actually, O Uddhava, I am attained only by pure devotional service, not by anything else. न साधयति माम योगो न सांख्यम धर्मोद्धवा न स्वाध्यायस्तपोत्यागो यथा bhaktirmamojita. He says, pure devotional service brings me under control. I am controlled by my devotees. In Vrindavan, the gopis, they would tell Krishna, oh Krishna, if you dance, I'll give you this sweet. If you sing, I'll give you this butter. If you, sit here, then I will give you this other sweet meat. Gopibhi stobhito nrityat bhagavan balavat kvachit udgayati kvachin mugdas tadvasho daru yantravat. Krishna became like dolls in the hand of gopis. Pure devotional service brings Krishna under control. Not by Ashtanga Yoga, not by Sankhya, not by any religious principles, not by pious work. Nothing can control Krishna. Only bhakti can control Krishna. And therefore, Krishna says, actually, not only pure devotional service purifies aprarabdha karma, it purifies the prarabdha karma also. Bhaktiyayamekaya grahya shraddhayatma priyasatam bhaktim punati mannishta shupakanapi sambhavat. Krishna says, only by pure devotional service with full faith in me, Shraddhayatma, with full faith, if somebody is rendering pure devotional service, Priyasatam, I become dear to those devotees. Bhaktim punati mannishtha. Bhakti completely purifies a devotee of all the prarabdha sins also. Shopakan, even if somebody is born in a lowest of the families of dog eaters, he also gets purified. Otherwise, if somebody is not taking to the process of devotional service, he cannot be purified by any of the other practices. Neither religious practice, not by acquiring knowledge, not by penance. Nothing can completely purify a living entity. The same thing which Parikshit Maharaj asked to Shukdev Goswami in the 6th canto beginning. What is the process of atonement? Shukdev Goswami first gave Karmakandi atonement. Parikshit Maharaj said, no, that is like, Venu Gulman Imanala. That is like, Uh, and Prabhupada compares that with uh, some religious people. They go to their place and do some atonement, and then next week they again start. Then Shukdev Goswami gave Jnanakand. Krishna says, no, no. Parikshit Maharaj said, no, that is like Jnana, that is like Venu Gulmam Ivanalaha. A forest is burnt, but still the roots are still there. Then Shukdev Goswami said, Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayana Agham Dhunvansi Karsnena Niharam Iva Bhaskara. Only by pure, unalloyed devotional service one can become purified of all the sins. One can become purified of the sinful desires also. That is a wonderful nature of devotional service. Pure devotional service purifies the desires, purifies the desire to enjoy, which is not possible by any other means. Aprarabdha phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukham kramena eva praliyate Vishnu bhakti ratatmanaha. Even the bij, even the kuta, kuta means the proclivity to do sinful activity, that is also destroyed by the process of devotional service. And then Krishna says, actually, pure devotional service even purifies the antahakarana, purifies the mind, purifies the consciousness. And therefore he says, if by practicing the devotional service, if the hairs do not stand on end, if the hearts do not melt, if the tears do not come out, then how can one render devotional service? Therefore, loving devotional service is the only process by which one can purify the mind, purify the consciousness. And then Krishna says, actually, pure devotional service not only purifies the antahakaran, it purifies the entire universe. Not only it purifies the universe, it purifies the soul. यथाग्निना हेममलं जहाति धमातः पुनस्त्वं भजते च रूपम् आत्मा च कर्मानुशयं विधूय मद्भक्ति योगेन bhajato atha mam. He says, just like when a gold is put into fire, the gold is purified of all the impurities. When a person, when a living entity starts practice of devotional service, he becomes purified of all the contaminations. That is the glory of devotional service. He becomes situated in his original position. And therefore Krishna says one should absorb mind in him. Lord is revealed in proportion to the bhakti a living entity does. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Similar, very wonderful verse comes. Yatha yatatma parimrijyate so mat punya gatha shravana vidhane tatha tatha pashyati vastu shukshmam chakshur yathevanja samprayuktam. He says, just like when an eye is diseased, you put a medicine, gradually the disease goes away. It does not happen overnight, it takes time. Similarly, when a living entity starts rendering devotional service, slowly he regains his ability to see me. So Lord reveals according to the devotion of a living entity. Uddhava may ask, but how does the mind of the devotee, which is fixed in hearing and chanting, become fixed in you, in your form? So Krishna says, actually, by meditating, just like meditating on the sense objects, one becomes entangled. By remembrance of myself, one becomes absorbed in me. So therefore, remembrance of Krishna is not different than Krishna. Abhinnatvat nama namina vishayan dhyayatashchittam vishayeshu visajjate mam anusmaratachittam mayyeva praviliyate. Just like the senses, they are attracted. Just by meditating on the sense objects, one becomes entangled. Similarly, by meditating on Krishna, one becomes absorbed in Krishna. Therefore, O Uddhava, one should reject all the material possessions and absorb one's mind in me. And then Krishna, he warns Uddhava about association with the opposite gender. He says one should give up the association of women and womenizers, and for that matter, for women, it is men. And therefore, he says one should remain in a place which is secluded, fixing the mind on my form. And therefore, he says a person who is attached to opposite gender, ultimately he undergoes a great deal of suffering. And therefore, O Uddhava, become free from all the attachment from the opposite gender. As it is said that actually between the two, women and womenizer are more dangerous, because if you associate directly with sense objects, you may develop some fascination. But if you are associating with a person who is engaging in sense gratification, he will paint a wonderful picture about the sense gratification. He will never tell the problems, the miseries which he is undergoing. So therefore, association with a womenizer is more dangerous. Nishkinchanasya bhagavad bhajanonmukhasya param param jigimashor bhavasagarasya sandarshanam vishainam athayoshitam cha ha hanta hanta vishabhakshanatopya sadhu. It is said that one should be very careful not to associate with opposite gender and those who are attracted to the opposite gender. It is better to stay in a cage filled with snakes than to associate with womenizers. These extreme examples are given in the scriptures to tell the very dangerous nature of association with non-devotees. So that is the description of Krishna. After this, Uddhava asks another question. He says, by what process should one who desires liberation meditate upon you? Yatha tvam arvindaksha yadrisham vayadatmakam dhyayen mumukshur etanme dhyanam tum vaktum arhasi. Please tell me, how can a person who is desiring liberation can meditate on you? So somebody may say, why Uddhava, after hearing the such wonderful detailed description of devotional service, why is he asking about Ashtanga Yoga again? You know, what is the problem with Uddhava? अरे इतना अच्छा कृष्ण कथा भक्ति चल रहा है. Again he is asking about devotional service, Ashtanga Yoga. What is the problem? Why is he asking? So, Acharyas, they explain why actually Uddhava is asking this question. He says, one cannot fully appreciate the glories of devotional service, the perfectional stage of devotional service, unless he sees everything. Then only he can compare and come to the conclusion that actually Bhakti Yoga is the supreme. So therefore, just to show the world a comparison, that Bhakti Yoga is ultimately the supreme. By a comparative analysis, a devotee becomes fully ecstatic in their appreciation of Bhakti Yoga. So that's why Uddhava is not desiring liberation. He is not a mumukshu. Mumukshu means desiring liberation. But he wants to hear this process of Ashtanga Yoga again, because personally he wanted to appreciate for his personal appreciation of Bhakti Yoga. And secondly, he wants to protect and redirect the desires of people who are on the path of Ashtanga Yoga. He wants to tell them that there is something higher. Why are you going towards this Ashtanga Yoga path? So with that intention, Uddhava is asking this question. So in response to this question, Krishna, he explains the path, the process of meditation. So in short, in this next 14 verses, Krishna explains the path of Ashtanga Yoga, which he described in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should sitting on a level seat with his eyes half closed, body straight with half closed eyes, meditate on the middle of the eyebrows, and then practice pranayam, yam niyam asan pranayam pratyahar dhyan dharana samadhi. All this Krishna is going to explain. He says, one should slowly move the life air from the lowermost chakra to the highest chakra, from the Muladhara to Agya chakra. And then he should uh, vibrate this sacred syllable Om. And with that, becoming fixed in that Omkar, after one has conquered the mind, one has controlled the mind, controlled the life air, with his eyes half closed, one should meditate on the lotus flower in the heart. This lotus flower, it is like a fire, very effulgent lotus flower. One should meditate that it is there in the heart, and one has to place my form on that lotus. So this is very important to understand that Ashtanga yogis, they also meditate on the form of the Lord. Kapila he described in great detail this meditation. On what Ashtanga yogi meditates. What is the object of meditation for Ashtanga yogi? So that is what Krishna describes in now from 36 to 42 verses. The beautiful form of the Lord with his four-handed form, lotus eyes, the eyes like lotus petals, beautiful bodily features, having Shrivats on the chest, wearing a Kaustubha mala, having a beautiful Vaijayanti garland, having a necklace Kaustubha, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, very beautiful lotus face. All the beautiful description of Lord is described by Krishna. Ashtanga Yogi, he pulls his senses very strongly from all the sense objects and fixes his mind on the form of the Lord. Slowly, slowly, he has to meditate on every limb of the Lord. That is the process from dharana to dhyan. Dharana means generalized meditation. Dhyan means meditation on every limb of the Lord. And then one has to meditate on the lotus face of the Lord, smiling, beautiful lotus face of the Lord. ध्यानायनं प्रहसितं बहुलाधरोष्ठ भासारुणायित तनुद्विज कुंद पंक्ति ध्याये स्वदेह कुहरे वसितस्य विष्णो भक्त्याद्रयार्पितमना न पृथक दृदृक्षेत. One should meditate on the beautiful smile of the Lord. And after becoming perfect in that meditation, this Ashtanga Yogi, what he does, he withdraws his consciousness and he fixes his mind on the impersonal Brahman sky, Brahman Jyoti. And then ultimately, he merges in the Brahman. And he actually, after getting liberated, he gives up the process. So the Brahmavadis, after getting liberated, they don't continue doing the same Ashtanga Yoga there. So therefore, that is the process which is described. And then he says, Krishna says, the stage of Samadhi. In the 45th and 46th verses, this personality, this Ashtanga Yogi, he should see me within his soul and soul within me. That means he realizes that I am part and parcel of the Lord. Jivera Swarupa Hoye Krishnera Nityadas Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. He realizes that I am part and parcel of the Lord. Therefore, he gives up all the illusory identification and he fixes his mind on Krishna. All his material desires completely vanquished. So now, this is a very short chapter. We'll take this 15th chapter also. So this is entitled Lord Krishna's description of the mystic yoga perfections. So now Uddhava, after hearing about Ashtanga Yoga, he asks, "Oh Krishna, please explain about the mystic perfections, because Ashtanga yogis, they have mystic perfections. How to attain these mystic perfections and how many mystic perfections are there? Kaya dharanaya kasvit katham va siddhirachyuta kativa siddhayo bruhi yoginam siddhido bhavan." Please explain about the mystic perfections, how to attain them, and how many mystic perfections are there. So Krishna, in response to this question, he says that there are 18 types of mystic perfections. Out of those, 8 are primary and 10 are secondary. So The word which Krishna uses is mat pradhan. So the 8 primary mystic siddhis, they are mat pradhan. Krishna is actual shelter of these 8 primary mystic siddhis. That means these siddhis, they are fully manifested in Krishna. And all the Ashtanga yogis, they exhibit only a fraction of these mystic siddhis. So then Krishna starts describing the primary siddhis. He says there are 8 types of primary siddhis: Anima, Mahima, Laghima, Prapti, Parakamya, Ishita, Vashita, and Kama Vashaita. So he says Anima means becoming smaller than the smallest. How to attain that perfection? So ultimately, we'll see that all these mystic siddhis are attained only by meditating on the form of the Lord. So therefore, Ashtanga Yoga is a very devotional process. Without bhakti, Ashtanga Yogi cannot attain perfection. That's why bhakti is an ingrained element in all types of yoga. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. Without bhakti, one cannot attain perfection in any of these paths. So this Ashtanga Yogi, he worships the Lord in his atomic form, which is pervading all the subtle elements. By that, he gets a siddhi of becoming smaller than the smallest. By meditating, by absorbing the mind in the form of Mahat Tattva as a supreme soul, he gets a power, he gets a siddhi called Mahima, becoming greater than the greatest. By attaching mind on the Lord as a sense of atomic constituents, he acquires a siddhi called Laghima, becoming lighter than the lightest. In this way, he acquires many wonderful mystic siddhis. Prapti means one can acquire whatever one desires. Srila Prabhupada, he would tell that when he was small, his father, he would take him to a guru, and he had the power. He could get mangoes from Afghanistan. One can acquire whatever one desires. That is called Prapti Siddhi. One acquires this process, this Siddhi, by concentrating on the Lord represented by Ahankar in the mode of goodness. Parakamya means one experiences any enjoyable object either in this world or in the next world. Whatever he wants, he can get. Ishita means one can even manipulate the various potencies of Maya. Vashita means one is impeded by 3 modes. 3 modes cannot disturb him. And Kama Vashaita, he can obtain anything from anywhere. These are the 8 primary siddhis, and Krishna explains in detail how to obtain these mystic siddhis. Anyways, we are not going to try this, so there is no much discussion needed on this topic. So then after this, Krishna describes the 10 secondary siddhis. Anurmi Matvam. Anurmi Matvam means freeing oneself from hunger and thirst. That's why the sages, they do not even feel hungry and thirsty. They acquire a power of Anurmi Matvam. By concentrating on the Lord of Shvetadvipa, one gets this siddhi. Another mystic, very wonderful mystic perfection is Dur Shravan. Dur Shravan means one can hear anything far away. Another is Dur Darshan. So Sanjay was given these 2 type of mystic siddhis, Dur Shravan and Dur Darshan. He could see whatever was happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he could hear the conversation. So that is a siddhi. Manojava means he can move his body with the speed of the mind. By merging the mind in the Lord and the body in the air, one can acquire this mystic siddhi. Another mystic siddhi is Kama Rupam. One can assume any form. Ravan, he had this mystic siddhi, and many of the demons, they have mystic siddhis. They can acquire any of the form. Another siddhi is Parkaya Praveshanam. This is very interesting. Entering into the body of others. That is also mystic siddhi. One can attain this by meditating himself within the other body and then he can enter others' body through the air. Swachanda Mrityu, Bhishma Dev was given this benediction. He was given benediction, you can die whenever you wish. That is Swachanda Mrityu. And then Devanam Saha Kridanu Darshanam. Some sages, they want to go and enjoy with the Apsaras. Some mystic yogis. That is their purpose. They get the mystic siddhi to go there and witness also and enjoy also. Heavenly women, who are in the mode of goodness, they approach these mystic siddhis, mystic yogis, and they enjoy. Yatha sankalpa samsiddhir, attaining whatever one desires. And then one more is agya pratihata gatihi. Agya pratihata gatihi means this person having once commanded something that can never go in vain. So therefore, a person attains the power to rule or control, and his orders will never be disobeyed. If somebody thinks, "Arey mera koi sunta hi nahi hai," you can think of acquiring this power, this mystic siddhi. Nobody can refuse the command of this personality. These are the 10 mystic siddhis, 10 secondary. And then there are some 5 lower siddhis also. Trikalagyattvam. One becomes the knower of past, present, and future. There are many great sages, even in the Himalayas still, and we keep on hearing so many things. Even Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he writes in his book Journey Home, he met many sages who had these mystic siddhis. They knew the past, they knew the future. And then advandvam means tolerance of heat and cold. Parachittadya bhigyata, knowing the minds of others. This is also very interesting quality. One can know the mind of anyone, what a person is thinking. One more quality is Agni Arkambu Vishadinam Pratistambho. This person will not be influenced by the effect of water, fire, and even poison. And then Aparajaya. He remains unconquered. Nobody can defeat him in his pursuits, in his endeavors. Therefore, after describing this, Krishna says actually all these mystic siddhis are attained by the sages who worship me through the Ashtanga Yogas. So, without worship of the Lord, nobody can attain any of the mystic siddhis. And therefore, a sage who is completely conquered his senses, his mind, his breathing, and his mind absorbed in me, Krishna is saying, he can attain any of the mystic perfections. There is no mystic perfection which he cannot achieve. And then after describing all this, Krishna says, but what is the use of all these mystic siddhis? They are of no use. For a devotee, these siddhis are actually impediments. Antarayan vadante ta yunjato yogamuttamam maya sampadyamanasya kala shapanhetavah. He says, actually mystic perfections of yoga, they are impediments on the path of devotionals. Antarayam. Antara means impediments. In the path of devotional service, these mystic siddhis are impediments. Because one can achieve the highest perfection by fixing the mind directly on me. All these mystic siddhis, they create impediments. They are just waste of time. Kala shapana hetavaha. Very interesting. Prabhupada tells a story. One person, he went to the Himalayas and he acquired a siddhi. After 7 years of tapasya, he acquired a siddhi of walking on the water. He came back to the village and everybody was mesmerized by his siddhi. One person said, "Arey, this is 50 paisa ka siddhi." And this person, he was outraged. I have spent 7 years and you are saying 50 paisa ka siddhi, 50 paisa worth? He said, yes. I will give the boatman 50 paisa and he'll take me across the river. Why spend so many years? Kala shapana hetava. All these siddhis, they are just waste of time. And in fact, bhakti can give all the siddhis. Janmaushadhi tapo mantrair yavatir iha siddhayah Yogena apnoti tah sarva nanya yoga gatim brajit. Whatever siddhi one can achieve by good birth, austerities, by herbs, by mantras, any siddhi can be attained by practice of devotional service. One cannot attain liberation by any of these siddhis, Krishna is saying there. One cannot achieve liberation. In fact, these mystic siddhis, they may become obstacle because name, fame, prestige will come, and the yogi may forget the highest destination. So therefore, bhakti is the supremost path by which even if you want something, you will get it. Krishna will describe in the further chapters. Yat karmavir yat tapasa jnana vairagyashchayat yogena dana dharmena shreyo bhiratrairapi sarvam mad bhakti yogena mad bhakto labate anjasa swarga apavarga madhama kathanchit yati vanchati. Whatever results one can attain by doing fruitive activities, by doing tapasya, by developing jnana, vairagya, by dan, by dharma, anything. Sarvam mad bhakti yogena mad bhakto labhate anjasa. My devotee very easily gets all that by the process of devotional service. If he wants heaven, he'll get it. If he wants liberation, he'll get it. If he wants to come to my abode, he will achieve that also. So therefore, Krishna ends this chapter by describing that I am the cause, I am the maintainer, and I am the master of all the siddhis which one may attain by Ashtanga Yoga, by Jnana Yoga, by Nishkam Karma Yoga, or by Brahma liberation. Therefore, just as the material elements they exist inside and outside of the body, I am existing inside of every species as Antaryami, and I am pervaded in this entire universe also. That is the end of the 15th chapter. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Are there any questions? You can unmute yourself if you have any questions. Okay, so thank you very much. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.